Hi, this is Mrs. Robertson, and today we are going to learn about the area and circumference of circles on lessons 1 and 2 from chapter 8. We're going to do circumference first. It is lesson 1, located on page 613. Now, let's make sure you understand this vocabulary. A circle is the set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a point. That point is called the center. The circumference is the distance around a circle. In other words, the circumference is how long the line is that makes the circle. Okay, if you cut the circle, straightened it out, that line is the circumference of a circle. The diameter is the distance across the circle through its center. The diameter will cut the circle into two pieces. All right, so this is going, in this problem here, we're going to fill in the boxes with the different words here in just a moment. And then we have a radius. A radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circle. So now we're going to fill in the words around the circle. This line here, let's just make it one solid line, is a diameter. So that line is the diameter. This is the radius, and that is called the center of the circle. So this is the radius, and that is the center. Any questions? Now we're going to go on to the next page and talk about the formulas. So let's go to page 614. Radius and diameter. The diameter, d, of a circle is twice its radius. The radius, r, of a circle is half of its diameter. So here, the diameter equals 2 times your radius. Your radius equals the diameter divided by 2. Any questions on those little formulas? Okay, in example 1, the diameter of a circle is 14. What is the radius? 14 divided by 2 is 7. Thumbs up. Does everyone understand that? I'm not going to spend much time on that. Okay. The radius of a circle is 8 feet. Find the diameter. Well, the diameter will be 8 times 2, which is 16. Any questions? All right. Then quickly, I want you to do A, B, C, and D. In A, find the radius. In B, find the diameter. In C, find the radius. And in D, find the diameter. So let's do those quickly. I would let you use a calculator on this, just no calculator on the belt work, kids. Make sure you include your labels. That one doesn't have a label there. Any questions? All right, now let's go to the next page, 615. Circumference of a circle. Yes?
Can you go back to the other question?
Divide by 2 is 11.5. Multiply by 2 is 6. Divide by 2 is 8 yards. Multiply by 2, 10.4. Yes? Here it says find the radius or the diameter. So if they give you a diameter, you're going to find the radius. To find the radius, you divide by 2. Here they've given you a radius, so you're going to find the diameter. To find the diameter, you multiply by 2. All right. Thank you for the question. Now, the circumference. The circumference of a circle is equal to pi times its diameter, or pi times twice its radius. All right, we are going to use pi as the value 3.14, okay? Now, sometimes it's easier or more friendly to use 22 over 7. If we are using fractions, it's easier to use 22 sevenths. Or if you're using the calculator, you're going to use 3.14. It says, in the inquiry lab, which we didn't do that today, you learned that circumference divided by diameter is approximately 3. The wiggly line means approximately. The exact ratio is represented by the Greek letter pi. This is in that Greek alphabet. This is the letter pi. The value of pi goes on and on forever. That's what the ... means. The decimal never ends, but it is often appropriate or approximated at 3.14. Another approximation for pi is 22 sevenths. Use this value when the radius of the diameter is a multiple of 7 or has a multiple of 7 in its numerator if the radius is a fraction. Now, let's go back up to the formula. We're going to be using pi. Any questions on what pi is, what the value is you're going to use? Okay. Now, the formula for the circumference is pi d. Pi times diameter, or 2 times pi times radius. All right? In example number 3, it says find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 21 inches. Okay, now, if you are given the radius, you use the formula 2 times pi times the radius. Why did you have to do 2 times pi times the radius? Yes. Right, you need 2 radiuses. Now, some of you are saying, but can I just do this? Pi times 2r? Yes. This says the same thing as this, but this is the way that they like to write it in mathematics, okay? Yeah, these are equal to one another because it's commutative. You're doing all multiplication. Multiplication is commutative, so it doesn't matter on that. All right, so 21 inches. So you could take 2 times 3.14 times 7. Yes, you have to write all of that down, and then in your calculator, you would type in the answer, and it's going to be 132 inches. Circumference is not squared because circumference is a straight line. Do you understand? You only square the areas. You put that little 2 at the end when you're dealing with area. We'll do that later. Any questions? All right. Now, I want you to do E and F. In letter E, it's a diameter. So you're going to use pi times diameter for this one. In this one, you're going to use pi 2 pi times the radius. And since they have a fraction, you might want to use 22 over 7 because the 7s will cancel them out. So your value for pi, I would use 22 over 7 times 7/8, and see the friendliness, how those 7s will cancel out. And then if you want to, you'll then see it as 2 over 1 times 22 times 7/8. The 7s cancel out. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 22 11. You end up with 11 over 2, which equals 5.5 feet. Oh, I did that one for you. Hate it when I do that. In this one, you'll just use 3.14 times 70. And with the calculator, you'll get 220 inches. Any questions? All right, let's go to the next page. Word problems. It says, Big Ben is a famous clock tower in London, England. The diameter of the clock face is 23 feet. Find the circumference of the clock face. Well, you just take pi times diameter, and you're going to get 72.2 feet. And they said round to the nearest tenth. Make sure you always read all the directions. So they rounded it to 72.2 feet. Now let's do letter G. A circular fence is being placed to surround a tree. The diameter of the fence is 4 feet. Sometimes it's always helpful to draw. The diameter is 4. How much fencing is used? Well, that means all the way around this post. If the diameter is 4, you're going to take 3.14 times the diameter of 4, and that will give you 12.56, but it wants us to round to the nearest tenth. And when I round it to the nearest tenth, what's the answer going to be? Yes, 12 6/10 feet. That's how long it is going to be, the distance around the circle. Yes. Yes. All right. Any questions on circumference? All right. Now we're going to go to the next lesson, which is area. Now the area formulas are different than circumference because they are two different things. We're going to go to lesson 2, located on page 623. Area of circles. This is chapter 8, lesson 2, area of circles. We're not going to actually do page 623. We're going to go straight on into the formula on page 624. Find the area of a circle. This is the formula. A equals pi r squared. All you have to think about are square pies. Pi r squared. Now, that's just an image in your mind to think of. What's the area of a circle? Pi r squared. Now, we're not dealing anything with squares. We're dealing with circles. So you're going to take 3.14 times your radius squared. So r squared means r times r. All right? So let's look at example 1. Our radius is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So you're going to have 3.14 times 4, because 2 times 2 is 4, and you're going to get 12.56. Now, it is an area, so it's 12.56 inches squared, or you can write it out square inches, or you could do inches squared like this. Any questions? All right. Now in number 2, it says find the area of a circle with a radius of 14 centimeters. Here they use 22/7. If you're going to be using a calculator, I don't have a problem with you using 3.14. So let's just, since we're rookies at this today, let's just use 3.14. So 3.14 times 14 squared. 14 times 14 is 196. So 3.14 times 196, and then you'll get the answer 616. And it is centimeters squared. So when you do your problems, you have to show certain things in order to use the calculator. You start off with what the original numbers are. I want you to show me what 14 squared is. It's not 28. It's 196, so I can find what your mistake is if you would make one. In letter A, find the area of a circle with a radius of 3.2 centimeters. So here you're going to write down 3.14 times 3.2 to the second power. Okay, pi radius squared. So then you would have 3.14, and 3.2 times 3.2 is What's the product of that? 10.24, 10 and 24 hundredths. Then you take that times 3.14 and you get the answer 32.156. So the area equals 329. Does it say to round to the nearest 10? Yeah. 329.3 centimeters squared. Any questions? Yes. Now in example 3, you have to read carefully. In this one, they don't give you a radius, they give you a diameter. So if the diameter is 24, what's the radius going to be of this shape? 12. So that's right. So you always have to make sure this will be 3.14 times 12 to the second power, because if the diameter is 24, the radius is half of 24, which is 12. 12 squared is 144, so 3.14 times 144, I would want you to show that on your paper, equals to the nearest tenth. So it's going to be 452 and 2/10, because 16 hundredths will be 2/10 millimeters squared. It's area, so you have to put the little 2. Any questions? All right. I don't think we're going to do semicircles today. All you do is divide the circle in half, because a semicircle is half a circle. Go ahead and do letter B while I pass out the worksheet that we're going to do for homework tonight, and that will be all. So your assignment tonight will be to do this, the circle worksheet, and then I want you to finish your bell work from last week. There are 8 problems on the worksheet that you're going to be doing tonight. Now on the worksheet, yes, you do have to write the formula each time it asks for a formula. Write down the area formula, the substitution, and the answer. Everyone understands what substitution is? Okay. So that's it. There. Do the problem. Oh, on the back side. On this, you're finding only the area on the back side. The final answer, 50% of the area, 3/4 of the area, 25% of the area, and 60% of the area. Remember, all you have to do is change your percent to a decimal and multiply. Or take 3/4 times the answer, and that gives you the 3/4 answer. Any questions? All right. Have a good day.